Starring, amongst others, John Boyega, Will Poulter, Algie Smith, Jason Mitchell, John Krasinski, and Anthony Mackie. Directed by Catherine Bigelow, off a script by Mark Boll. This is my review of Detroit. Detroit takes place at the time of the 1967 riots. It all kicked off when police raided an unlicensed bar. They arrested a lot of the African American customers that were inside at the time. This was witnessed by people out on the street who reacted violently. The violence got worse and worse and worse, and before they knew it, Detroit had a full-on riot on its hands. The movie focuses on a few characters, but the main group are a couple of people from a band called The Dramatics. The lead singer's one and his friend is another. They're about to get their big break and go on stage and perform on a stage that could well get them a record deal. Unfortunately, they're called off stage because of the riots, and they have to try and get home. They don't make it home, their bus gets attacked, and they're forced to take refuge at the Algiers Motel, which is where most of this movie takes place, and things don't go well there. They mingle with a few people there, including two white girls. I'm saying white girls because it's an important plot point. They meet a few other people there as well, including one guy who has a starter pistol. He plays a prank with the starter pistol, pretending it's a real gun. They all fall for it. A little bit later on, he decides to fire the starter pistol at a few police and a few members of the armed guard, and that's when things get really, really, really bad. Starting off by saying Detroit is not an easy watch. Given the subject matter, I wasn't expecting it to be, and nor should it be. But there are times where the movie takes its time. The movie allows scenes to breathe, and in doing so, it makes the people there feel like real, genuine people. It feels like I'm genuinely watching these people going through something that's absolutely horrific. The situation is made a lot worse by the fact that they are African-American men with two white girls, and the police, the incredibly racist police who turn up at the Algiers Hotel, don't take kindly to this. Their mission is to find out who has a gun. But in doing so, they're willing to put these people through some horrible, horrible stuff. This whole sequence in the hotel, like, all of it just had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. It's an uncomfortable watch. And everybody plays it brilliantly. The cast in this movie are absolutely superb. Every single one of them. There's not one person I can fault. The script, I have some issues with, but for the most part, again, it's very well done, and direction-wise, Catherine Bigelow has proved that she knows how to direct a film. Like, she knows how to do these real-world event films and do them justice, and once again, she does the same thing here. Unfortunately, the movie does, much like other Catherine Bigelow movies, go on a little bit too long. It spends a lot of time setting up some of these characters and kind of hitting the hammer on the head a little bit too much. Like, we know who they are. We know this guy wants to be in a band. We know he wants a record deal. But they continue to make that clear when it doesn't need to be made any clearer than it already is. And it drags out the runtime. And again, the same towards the end of the movie. Like, it goes on a little bit too long. You could probably cut 20-25 minutes worth of footage from various points of this film, and it wouldn't make a great deal of difference to what you see. Another issue I have with the movie is characters just not saying things. Like, I imagine there's a reason. For example, the starter pistol. Nobody that I remember who they all get lined up along this wall and they're all interrogated and beaten and pushed about, but none of them mention the starter pistol. None of them say the gun was just a starter pistol. It wasn't a real gun shooting at the police. Nobody says that, and I can't quite figure out why. I imagine there must be a reason. The people who were really there did help to make this film. Like, they gave their input. They told the director or the writers what happened. But there wasn't anything that made it clear, at least to me, I don't think, why they didn't just say exactly what happened. Because everybody in that hotel, apart from the police, knew about the starter pistol. Like, they all knew about it. A big deal was made about this starter pistol and the fact that everybody saw it. So for them not to mention it, it was a bit strange. And there's also a part towards the end of the movie as well where a character who has been crying throughout the most of this ordeal suddenly develops a backbone, and I'm not sure if backbone is the right term for it, but he stands up for himself at a time where he probably shouldn't have done. and it leads to a big dramatic moment, and it's a well done moment. But again, I couldn't help but thinking, why is this character doing this? So there's a lot of moments in this film where, for me, it was characters just not acting or saying things that the characters would or should say. That being said, they're really the only criticisms I have about Detroit. The rest of this film gripped me from start to finish. Like, it did. Other than going on a little bit too long, when it arrives at the Algiers motel, it spends a lot of time there and nothing's wasted. Every look, every glance, everything that's said, every sob, like, it all means something, and it's all done in such a powerful way that as much as I wanted to see more of this, as much as I was engrossed in the story, at the same time I kind of wish we could just leave it, because I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and as well I should. The cast in this movie do so well that I can't even think of anybody to actually single out. I mean, everybody, every single person in this movie that gets the right kind of material to work with just absolutely nails it. Like, every single person, from John Boyega's security guard who finds himself in the wrong place to Will Poulter's incredibly racist, horrible policeman, like, they give some stellar performances in this movie that I hope get recognised come award season, because every single person in this deserves it. As I say, Detroit isn't an easy watch, but I think it's a film that should be watched. Like, definitely check out Detroit if you get the chance. It's 100% worth your time. As I say, the performances are great, the script is mostly brilliant, the direction is fantastic. I was gripped throughout this. I'm going to give Detroit a 8 out of 10. Guys, thank you for watching this. If you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe as well if you feel that way inclined. Did you watch Detroit? If you did, let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to know. Was there actually an explanation about why they didn't just mention the starter pistol? Did I miss it? I did go to the toilet once, perhaps that was when something was said. If that's the case, let me know. Until next time, thank you for watching.